Rome, 126 AD. You take your first breath as someone else's property. Your mother feeds other people's infants for a living, which at least keeps her alive and reasonably well fed. What it doesn't do is keep her children. You're separated before you barely had a chance to latch on because there's a paying household waiting and you're getting in the way. Your early childhood is managed by committee. Other slaves watching other slaves' children in a system nobody volunteered for. By the time you're 5, the social ladder is obvious. The owners sit at the top of everything. Below them, the freed. Below them, the skilled. Below them, everyone else. And then there's your category, the nursing women and the girls being shaped into their replacements. Special, in the worst possible way. You're not being educated, you're being evaluated. A senior slave woman comes around regularly to look you over. Your weight, your frame, your physical progress. She keeps written records. The implication is never subtle. Your worth is biological, and everyone is watching to make sure it develops on schedule. Puberty arrives around 13 and suddenly the scrutiny doubles. Your meals change. More protein, richer food, your workload lightens. You're relocated closer to the other candidates and kept well away from anyone who might complicate your future usefulness. Your body is an investment now, and investments need protecting. That's around when you meet Marcus. He's a field worker temporarily reassigned to the house. You talk during meals. Over months, something real develops. Your master notices, and rather than shut it down, decides it's more useful to formalize it. A brief ceremony, simple iron bands, a second-hand tunic. The household gets a more cooperative worker. You get the illusion of a life. Everyone wins, except in every way that matters. For a short while, it almost feels normal. The pregnancy unfolds across 9 months of quiet dread because you already know what comes next. The baby arrives healthy and whole, and for less than a day, she is entirely yours. Then the household takes her to be raised alongside the other slave children, and you're tidied up and handed off to the Cornelius family, whose infant son needs feeding and whose mother has better things to do than provide it herself. Upper-class Roman women didn't nurse their own babies. It was beneath them, and besides, it would slow down the next pregnancy. So the job got outsourced to women like you, and you were expected to be grateful for the opportunity. Your grief isn't welcome here. Questions about your daughter aren't welcome either. Your only job is to pour everything, every maternal instinct, every sleepless hour, every ounce of warmth, into a child who will never belong to you in any real sense. Love him like your own, they imply. Just don't forget that he isn't. The schedule is relentless. Specific foods in, specific behaviors out. No strong flavors, no strong feelings, nothing that might disturb the product. You're woken multiple times through the night and expected to function through the exhaustion. Marcus, meanwhile, is sent back to the fields. A nursing woman doesn't need a husband around complicating things. Each assignment runs between 1 and 2 years. When it ends, you move on. The first goodbye nearly breaks you. The second is merely terrible. By the third, you've built walls you didn't know you were capable of. You still care for each child. You can't help it, given how much of yourself goes into the work. But you stop letting the endings hollow you out completely. It's adaptation, not indifference. A distinction that probably only matters to you. Then your reputation starts building. The children you nurse keep turning out remarkably well. They're healthy, quick to develop, sharp. Families talk. Word circulates through the circles where wealthy Romans discuss what money can buy. Before long, you're not just a wet nurse. You're the wet nurse, the one households compete over. Families send expensive gifts to your owners. They make generous offers. Senators' wives write personal correspondence requesting your assignment. Something shifts. You still belong to someone else, but now there's demand involved, and demand creates a kind of shadow leverage you've never had before. Your sleeping quarters improve. The food stays rich. You move through Rome's most prominent households with something almost resembling status. It lasts about 15 years before the body starts to disagree. Around 43, production becomes inconsistent. You adjust everything you can think of: diet, rest, fluid intake, but the decline is steady and indifferent to your efforts. By 44, it's over. The one thing that elevated you above ordinary slave labor is simply gone. The reassignment is immediate. Floors need scrubbing, chamber pots need emptying, laundry piles up. Your soft hands, kept careful for decades in service of your specialty, crack open within weeks. Your back, already bent from years of hunching over infants, now curves further under the weight of real physical work. The comfortable private room disappears. You're back in shared quarters, one body among several, eating basic rations like everyone else. This is what the majority of slaves live every day. You'd simply forgotten. The gray years pass slowly. Your hair whitens, your posture shrinks. You keep working because there is no other option. You're 62, down on your knees, cleaning a stone floor, when a stranger's voice pulls you upright. A woman stands in the entryway, 30s, well-presented, free by every indication. She's asking whether anyone remembers a wet nurse from decades past. Around a certain age, her eyes scan the room and settle on you, and something in them catches. She has your face. Not exactly, but close enough. She explains herself carefully. Taken from her mother as a newborn, freedom earned through years of work, a decent marriage, and now finally the means and the determination to search. She doesn't know her mother's name. She knows almost nothing, but she's been looking anyway. You can barely get the words out. She's here. She's standing right in front of you. The paperwork takes 3 days. The price is significant to your owner and meaningless to your daughter. You walk out of that household on your own terms for the first and only time in your life. 8 months. That's what you get. A small house, a real garden, warm mornings in the sun with your daughter nearby. It isn't nothing. For someone who started as property and spent 60 years being useful to everyone except herself, 8 months of genuine peace is something.